Bitcoin is not just an asset. Bitcoin is a great store of value, but it's also the best medium of exchange that we have.
What do you think are like the biggest mistakes that founders do in this ecosystem?
Always when you're kind of ahead of the market, you need to find pockets of early adopters. And that
Hello and welcome to another episode of Spotlight, where we highlight key trends and founder milestones with portfolio founders and tech experts. I'm Tomer Niv, and today's guest is Sheinfeld, co-founder and CEO of Breez. Ray, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
So we've known each other since 2017 for a long time, and you're a real visionary in the Bitcoin ecosystem. Perhaps can you give us like a 60-second pitch about who you are and what drives you?
Sure. So as you said, I'm the CEO and the co-founder of Breez. Breez is a Lightning company. In the Bitcoin ecosystem, there's a space called the Lightning Network, and we're pioneering the Lightning Network. We started the company in 2018 with the inception of this technology, and what drives me is to help Bitcoin evolve to become a medium of exchange.
Great. So before we dive deeper, perhaps you can tell us a bit more about what Lightning is, why do we need it, what can it do to the Bitcoin ecosystem?
Sure. So if you guys are familiar with Bitcoin, Bitcoin is a blockchain technology, and blockchain can't really scale. That's kind of the main problem with blockchain. If you want to make a Bitcoin transaction, it takes at least 10 minutes for the transaction to be confirmed. Also, it's not very scalable, and the fees are high. The Lightning technology evolved because we want to scale Bitcoin transactions. We want to make the transaction cheaper, and we want to do that in lightning speed. So the Lightning Network is a layer 2 technology on top of the Bitcoin blockchain that aims to scale Bitcoin to mitigate all the deficiencies of the Bitcoin blockchain.
Most of the people want to, I assume, want to use Bitcoin as an investment, a speculative investment. It's a financial asset. I want to buy it low, sell it high, make profit, and that's it. And especially in a day like this, when we got to all-time high in the price, why would I want to spend it on a coffee or something?
I see that you're starting with light questions. That's the biggest question around the Bitcoin technology. Most people see Bitcoin as a speculative asset, and they see it as an asset. Also, the kind of the discourse around Bitcoin is all around Bitcoin as an asset. I want to buy low, I want to sell high. Saylor says that Bitcoin is capital, Bitcoin is an asset. Bitcoin ETFs are in place for people to invest in Bitcoin, and then they don't see it as a currency and as a medium of exchange. And my goal, like what I want to change in that regard, is the discourse around Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not just an asset. Bitcoin is a great store of value, but it's also the best medium of exchange that we have. And I think the two are interconnected, meaning without a great store of value, Bitcoin can be a great medium of exchange and vice versa. So you can't really decouple the fact that Bitcoin is a great medium of exchange as well. You talked about all-time high today. That's because Bitcoin is traded all the time. There's, I think in 2024, $19 trillion, $19 trillion were moved
Of volume.
in volume, were moved in the Bitcoin blockchain. That's a lot of exchanges. So
you're saying that on one hand, we can look at Bitcoin as a digital gold, as a store of value. I guess that gold today is the best example of a store of value. On the other hand, gold today, it was used as a means of payment in the past. Today, it's not used as payments. We don't pay with gold.
Because we have better medium of exchange. But even if you take a look at USD, at the US currency, it's also a store of value. Meaning, every good. What I think that the currency that we use in the world today are both store of values and medium of exchange. Store of value itself implies that there's some kind of an exchange, meaning the market appreciate the asset using because it's being exchanged.
I think that most people see it as opposites, but basically you're saying that it's not. So gold was a great store of value and was also a great means of exchange, but today it's simply not relevant to the digital world.
Exactly.
And Bitcoin, perceived as a digital gold, is also a great store of value, but due to its digital, decentralized, and very flexible attributes, it can also be the best means of exchange for a digital economy. I think that we can both agree that the Lightning is still a pretty premature, I wouldn't say technology, but at least a market and as a product. Do you think that it's a matter of years, tens of years? What else is needed, like to?
So when I started Breez in 2018, I told myself, okay, I know we're running a marathon and not a sprint. It's going to take time, and the market needs some time to understand the properties of Bitcoin. And in my head, it was like 5 years. That was the time frame when I started. I'm already 7 years in, and I don't think like we crossed the chasm.
Yeah.
So I don't know when it's going to happen.
So maybe a more personal question. As a CEO of a startup, you still have short-term goals, and you need to align your partners and the team, and also the customers around this long-term vision. So how do you do it day to day?
So the way we approach it, we kind of try to, I think it's very similar to other startups. I don't think there's something unique about Bitcoin and Lightning in that regard. Always when you kind of ahead of the market, you need to find pockets of early adopters. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying kind of to focus on these pockets of early adopters and trying to find patterns in the early adopters, something that will bring us to a more to wider audience. So
the early adopters, your customers, what use cases do you see today? I assume is it mostly consumer facing? What kind of categories?
So since Bitcoin is perceived today as a speculative asset and people mostly trade Bitcoin in exchange for other coins, our current pipeline is focused on crypto wallets and crypto companies that wants to provide a better service for their users when it comes to the exchange of Bitcoin. So we're working with crypto companies mostly right now because the service they provide to their end users is mostly around trading. We're starting to see other patterns evolve, but that's kind of the main use case.
Do you think that there is something maybe unrelated to Lightning that needs to be unlocked in order to have more consumer-facing apps that are not related directly to like financial services?
Definitely. So I think the problem with kind of understanding Bitcoin is understanding the utility of Bitcoin. People are starting to understand Bitcoin as an asset. You see that with the tools, the financial tools that are emerging, like ETFs and other investment tools. But people are still lacking in understanding the utility of Bitcoin as a medium of exchange.
I saw in there, heard Meta, not Facebook, re-exploring the adoption of stablecoins for their different products, which makes sense, much like we've seen, Stripe's acquisition of Bridge and the huge volumes of stablecoins in general. Is there a connection between stablecoins and Lightning and Bitcoin?
So Lightning is evolving to support stablecoins as well. There are two main projects around that. One is Taproot Assets by Lightning Labs and Tether already committed to issue USDT on top of Lightning. So that's going to happen.
That's huge.
That's very big.
So maybe we can explain to our audience. So until now, Lightning is used as a scalable layer, as another layer on top of Bitcoin, mostly to transact Bitcoin.
Yes. The only token that you can move in Lightning is Bitcoin.
And now Lightning Labs, with their new project, might enable to move USDT. You can already do it.
You can already move tokens in Lightning using this new technology, but we're all waiting for Tether to issue USDT, so people will actually use it. Because when it comes to stablecoin, USDT and USDC are the kings.
So the short-term goal, as you said, is to integrate as many crypto companies as possible. What would be the next step? What should we look out for in the industry?
I think you'll after crypto.
Yes.
So I think you're already seeing fintech companies integrating Bitcoin. Revolut, with the help of Lightspark, just added Lightning support. So I think Lightning will become more and more prominent in classic fintech product. I think we'll see PayPal integrating Lightning, and you're going to see all the main fintech product also integrating Lightning. And I think next step is going mainstream. And by going mainstream, I mean going into consumer apps that are not necessarily fintech apps. And that's kind of the next phase.
Like we have marketplaces.
Marketplaces.
Uber, to order a taxi with Lightning.
To tip any TikToker in Lightning, to be able to exchange merchandise in a marketplace using Lightning. Anything that brings users together, they will be able not just to exchange messages, but also to exchange value.
Great. So we need to wrap up soon. Maybe let's reflect on the past seven years. What do you think are like the biggest mistakes that founders do in this ecosystem? Or maybe you can share with us one of your mistakes. And on the contrary, like what do you think was your biggest win, or a point where you could say, okay, I know that I'm on the right track? Because it's, as you said, it's a marathon. So you need to have some kind of conviction along the way.
Yeah, definitely. What Elon Musk said about startups, about running a startup, it's like chewing glass, staring at the abyss, and that's basically how I feel. But I do it with a smile, meaning I'm waking up every day with a smile on my face because I really enjoy doing what I'm doing. My biggest mistake as a founder, I think, is taking money from people that I shouldn't have taken money from.
Not us, I hope.
No. So initially, when you start such an ambitious project, you're looking for help. And you basically, I jumped on the first opportunities for funding, and I think that was a big mistake on my part. So when raising money, it's not about the money. It's about the partnership. It's about the help and the support the investor can bring you in bringing your company to the next level. So raising smart money, I think that's the number one advice that I can give to.
So what are your ways to identify today who are the best investors to work with? Because you onboarded new investors in the last round.
I involved new investors, but investors that I was in touch with for a long, long time. So in the past few years, I've been developing a relationship with a lot of people in the Bitcoin ecosystem and in the crypto ecosystem, and I kind of picked the investors that I wanted to participate in the round, and that's investors that already provided me with value even without being an investor. So I just took money from them now.
Yeah. So I want to make it harder for you because that was your privilege because it's not the first round. But if it's the first round, how a founder can identify who's the right investor?
So I think you need to establish relationship early, a lot before you are in a position.
Think about fundraising.
Yeah, even a lot before you want to raise, establish relationship with people. Investors are people, and
some say.
Some of them. But and they need, and you need to establish a relationship that is a valuable relationship with investors before raising money. Raising money is really the last stage or one of the stages in kind of establishing a partnership with an investor. But you need to get to know them. You need to see the value that they bring them. They will, if it's the right investor, they will be valuable before the raise. There's a lot of money out there. And if you're building something valuable, getting money, that's not the toughest part. The toughest part in building a company is growing the company and bringing the company to, there's always a next level. And I think you need to think about investors as partners.
Not as banks.
Not as, yes, not as pockets, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for a very inspiring and insightful discussion. And I hope that you will keep on building in public, the Lightning infrastructure.
Yes, yes. You can bet on that.
Where can people follow up on you and Breez?
Everywhere. Breez.technology, that's our site. Breez without an E at the end, BREEZ.technology. But I'm on Twitter, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on every possible social network. Nostr, by the way, there's a social network that is dedicated, mostly being used by Bitcoiners, called Nostr, Nostr. I'm there as well.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, Tomer.